Her first major overhaul, and her first flight after restoration was in October 2012, and she was delivered back to Rolls-Royce the following month. Unfortunately, her return to service was beset by an unfortunate accident in January 2013 when the undercarriage was inadvertently retracted while on the runway at East Midlands Airfield. Fortunately, that occurred at very low speed, but it did damage the propeller, the wings and the fuselage, although the pilot was unharmed. So the Spitfire was sent for repair to Duxford and returned to service some 6 months later, and her first public display then afterwards was part of a special thank you to the employees of Rolls-Royce when she flew in formation over the Derby factories alongside the new Boeing 787 Dreamliner, which was also powered by Rolls-Royce engines. That was on the 8th of August 2013. So she's been flying for just over a year since being returned after that accident. See the aircraft collapse to around 6 to 8 feet away from each other as Red 1 pulls them up into his loop, and you can see as they reach a mile above us they form short diamond formation. Leading the team is Red 1. He's squadron leader Jim Turner. It's his third and final year as the team's leader. He's a former Jaguar pilot. He's very experienced in the display world, having displayed the Jaguar. Spent 3 years previously with the Red Arrows. He's also spent 3 years as the official advisor with the Royal Saudi Air Force's display team. The smoke comes on, you hear Reds 2 and 3 acknowledge the move to Eagle. They do so with very metronomic cadence in their voices. The idea being that on the count of 4 in their heads, the pilots extend their air brakes. And on the count of 6, they retract their air brakes. And that enables the 3 aircraft on each wing to drop back in unison to form Eagle, ready for the Eagle roll. As the jets go upside down, boys and girls, this is where they'll see you! When the Red Arrows formed in 1964, ready for that first season in 1965, the aircraft they used was the Folland Gnat, and that was the advanced jet trainer in the Royal Air Force in that era. But in 1976, the Hawker Siddeley Hawk entered service with the Royal Air Force, and in 1980 the Red Arrows started using the Hawk as their aerobatic aircraft. It's still the aircraft we use today. Well, the Hawk is now a product of BAE Systems. It's a very successful export. It's been sold to 19 countries across the world. In fact, yesterday was a very special anniversary for the Hawk. It was in fact the 40th anniversary of the Hawk's first flight. Now to the front, the smoke comes on as they reverse another shape. Reds 4 and 5 have moved forward, and this is Flanker. You're about to see a very wide shape now. Reds 8 and 9 are going to move to the outside of the wings, and from Red 9's left wingtip through to Red 8's right wingtip. The formation is going to measure 100 metres or 300 feet wide. So to enable them to maintain the formation as they manoeuvre around the sky, the outside pilots really have to anticipate their control inputs. They do so by using the very set cadence in Red 1's voice commands. But now we're going to have some red, white and blue. Let's have a huge patriotic round of applause as we show you Phoenix. On the leader's right wing is the first of our new pilots for this year. He's Red 2, Flight Lieutenant Stu Campbell. Stu is a former Tucano instructor. I think you saw it display here earlier. He taught basic fast jet training on that aircraft, and he also displayed Tucano. Operationally, he flew the Tornado GR4. Out to the right now, the smoke goes off as the boys have formed our trademark shape, and they're going to fly the Diamond Roll. Another big wave, boys and girls. Now we fly our formations with the odd-numbered pilots on the left-hand side. The even-numbered pilots fly on the right-hand side. And in their 3-year tour with the team, the pilots will generally start at the front near the leader. And as their proficiency improves, they move further back. On the leader's left wing is Red 3. He's the other of our new pilots this year. He's Flight Lieutenant Joe Hurston. Joe is a former Hawk instructor and Tornado pilot. In fact, Joe is the only pilot on the team who has flown this version of Hawk. We call the T-Mark 1. And also he is instructed on the Royal Air Force's new advanced jet trainer, the Hawk T-Mark 2. Out to the left, the smoke's gone off. They've now formed a very iconic shape, and they're going to show us Concorde in the Concorde loop. Pulling up at 400 miles an hour. You'll see another formation change now as they reach 6,000 feet above us. At the top of this loop, the jets slow down to about 150 miles an hour. You can now see another shape. This is Feathered Arrow. They now start coming down the other side of the loop in that Feathered Arrow shape. Well, in the 60s, they decided that Feathered Arrow was a mouthful to say on the radio. So we call this formation Fred. Well, that is the end of the first half of the Red Arrows display, ladies and gentlemen. Did you enjoy it? Blyton's famous 5. And at the back, Red 6, 7, 8 and 9 are known as Jippo. Jippo was the nickname of the gentleman who first led the back 4 when the Red Arrows started flying 9-ship displays officially in 1968. So just above the wind farm now, you can see they have formed that very wide Phoenix shape again. Now it's definitely time to get your cameras ready. Rolling out in Phoenix to start the second half of the display. Reds 1 to 5, 8 and 9 pull up in Phoenix. Now keep your eyes on the synchro pair with their blue smoke underneath. This is the Palm Split! With his blue smoke going off on the left-hand side is Red 6. He's the leader of the synchro pair, Flight Lieutenant James McMillan. He's in his 3rd and final year with the team. He actually grew up in New Zealand, but he transferred to the Royal Air Force in 2002 and became a Hawk instructor and Harrier pilots. On the left, red 6 is followed by red 8. If you look right, with the smoke on, is red 7, chased down by red 9. But these four aircraft are now closing towards each other at 850 miles an hour. Cameras ready for the amazing Jippo Pass. Synchro pair now turn away from us. They're pulling 6G, or 6 times the force of gravity. This means everything in their bodies weighs 6 times more than normal. These pilots work hard to counter the G-force as they roll up towards us to fly the Cyclone. The synchro pair slingshot out to the front. You need to look to your left towards the pier for Enid. The wings of Enid drop down to form an inverted V shape. Now look to your right. There's a lone jet. That is red 9. His smoke comes on. He's now going to perform the Goose. With the red, white and blue stripe is red 9. He's Flight Lieutenant Mike Child. He's a third-year pilot with the team. He's a former Hawk instructor, Hawk display pilot, and operationally Mike flew the Typhoon. You'll see it displayed in just a few minutes' time. The Royal Air Force's new multi-role combat aircraft. So Enid climbs steeply to the right. Look directly ahead for the synchro pair. They pull up at 500 miles an hour and 5 times the force of gravity. The jets reach a height of 7,000 feet. The white smoke comes on. Cameras ready as they get ready to draw a heart. Look top left of the heart for red 8, who's going to add a final touch. Smoke comes on, he's steering the heart, red 8, Flight Lieutenant Martin Pert. Third-year pilot with the team, another Hawk instructor, and Harrier pilots. Ladies and gentlemen, red 6, 7 and 8 with their heart and spear. Now I'm going to dedicate that heart to the lovely Red Arrows girls in front of the commentary box here in their brilliant Red Arrows. You'll see Enid are being joined by Reds 8 and 9. In fact, Red 8 has been flying around at 600 miles an hour to join the rest of Enid. You can see him just slotting in to this 7-ship Vixen formation. Pulling up at 4G. Red 1 now twists this loop through 90 degrees in a quarter clover. Now get your cameras ready. This is the vertical brake. Left and right again for the synchro pair. This time red 6 comes from our right and red 7 from our left. They're closing at 800 miles an hour. They're going to cross 3 times in opposing 360 degree 6G turns in the carousel. Pilots pull 6G, they're turning away from us, they're going to cross 3 times, and watch at each of these 3 crosses. The pilots will swap their smoke colour using the individual colour control buttons on the aircraft's control column. 45 degrees. In a shape called Leader's Benefit, they are drawing a red, white and blue snake-like shape of smoke in the sky as they fly the Python. Far right of that Leader's Benefit shape is Red 4. He's Flight Lieutenant Ollie Parr, and he's a second-year pilot with the Red Arrows. He's a former Tornado GR4 pilot, but he's also spent a tour as a hawk flying instructor at RAF Valley on the Isle of Anglesey in North Wales, where we train our advanced flying students. Well, Enid finished the Python. Keep looking left beyond the pier for Jippo. Red 6 and 7 now roll upside down. This is the corkscrew. The inside pilots perform tight match rolls to the outside of the formation in the rollbacks. Finish their rollbacks. Keep your eyes down to the right hand side for Jippo. Once again, Red 6 and 7 roll upside down. Now 8 and 9 will match them underneath as they fly the mirror pass. Now let's give the synchro pair a wave as they fly past upside down. Red 6 gives the command for the formation to widen into a 4-ship square card formation. Now look right, 45 degrees. Reds 1 to 4 form a box formation. You'll see another jet now rolling around the rest of the formation a dozen times.
This is a new one.
Cameras ready. This is the Twister! Getting very dizzy with the red smoke on is Red 5. He's Flight Lieutenant Steve Morris. Steve's a second-year pilot with the team. He's a former Hawk instructor and operationally flew the Harrier GR9 and the Tornado GR4. Reds 8 and 9 start to roll around 6 and 7. They then roll and split in the Jippo break. Changing from blue to white on the right hand side is Red 7. He's synchro number 2, Flight Lieutenant Mark Lawson. It's Mark's second year with the team, and his background is solely on the Tornado GR4, where he spent 3 tours flying over Iraq, Afghanistan and Libya, and became a qualified weapons instructor. Now the synchro pair descend for their final manoeuvre of the display. These are the double rolls. Ladies and gentlemen, please clap, cheer and scream for the synchro pair! Now look directly to the front above the big wind farm for Enid, who are being joined by Reds 8 and 9 for the displays finale. You can see Red 9 slotting back into that 7-ship Vixen formation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Vixen break. You've been watching the Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team, the Red Arrows. Number 2's just put his smoke on, that's to enable all the other